Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Abe with mysticgenmara.com and today I'm going to do the elemental reading for March for the signs that are associated with air. Those signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I read intuitively, so when I'm reading the cards, I will be reading from what I am being given by source, and it may not be the meanings associated with the cards exactly. It's the messages that need to come through. The card decks that I am using will be linked in the description below, and I do have some that are out of print or discontinued, and I will mark those as such so that you will not get confused. So, with that being said, I'm going to read for the 5 weeks in March. Each week will have a guide, a message from source, and a challenge or lesson that needs to be worked on for that time. So for the first week, and I draw my cards for each reading as I'm doing the reading so that there's no risk of anything being questionable. There's the first card was for the guide. The second card will be for the message from source for the air signs in March 2022, and the lesson from source, or lesson for the air signs in March 2022. Okay, so your guide for the first week of March 2022 is the Omega Dragon. Harness the divine feminine power of creation. So the Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet, but it does not mean it's a weak letter. It means that the divine feminine is the perfect complement to the masculine. The masculine is very aggressive and outgoing. The feminine is very supportive and very nurturing. And so for this first week of March, it's a good time to tap into that more feminine part of yourself, male or female. We all have both energies within. And tap into that more feminine side and do some self-care, maybe care for someone around you. But it's a time to find the strength that lies within supportive strength. It's not so much the aggressive, outgoing strength, it's the supportive and fulfilling strength that lies just under that. So the guide for the first week of March is the Omega Dragon. The message from Source, this is like a spiritual support message, is originality. Blaze your own trail. So for this first week of March, it's a good thing to just tap into your uniqueness. Go with what you are, who you are, how you feel. And if you're struggling with trying to find out self-identity issues or maybe a little bit of self-esteem, this is time for you to look at what makes you unique and run with that. Go with that energy, tap into it to its fullest extent, and really step into what makes you original, what makes you unique. And the challenge or lesson is the Hanged Man. And this actually ties very, very, very well into this whole thing. The Hanged Man card, if I can get the lighting right, it's not so much a destructive negative card. It's a card that is reminding you to look at things from a different perspective. If you've gotten stuck into this rut, maybe it's because you're not being your original self. If you're tapped into that rut thing, it's time to maybe tip your world upside down. Look at things from a different perspective. And when I say tip your world upside down, it's not a literal throw it all away and start over. It's looking at things maybe from a different perspective. We get tunnel visioned as humans into this path, and being an air sign especially, there is this need to always look at something from the intellectual perspective, to always be in our heads and from a logical standpoint. Not always, but it happens. And so what this is saying is maybe step away from that high logic point, look at from a period of passion, maybe tie into some deeper emotions that are there, but look at what's going on for that first week of March in a way that is outside of the normal perspective that you carry. So for the second week of March, we'll pick a guide here. And the message from Source for March 2022, air sign. A message from Source for air second week of March 2022. There we go. And the lesson or challenge for the second week of March for air signs. So, For your second week of March, your guide for that week, your spirit guide, will be the blue dragon from the Pleiades star system. Prepare to accept source healing. So this guide is a star seed, and this guide works in a way to help you understand who you are at your deeper point, to help you tap into your soul connection to the Pleiades in this case. So if you're an air sign that also has starseed vibes for the Pleiades star system, it's a good connection for you this week. But source healing is basically the divine comes down and will help heal a physical ailment or heal an emotional state or a mental state. And so with the star system card coming in, what you're trying to heal is something that is very big, possibly a family line issue or a genetic issue, soul agreement. So for the second week of March, tapping into that blue dragon from the Pleiades is a good way to align yourself with your higher and best healing using the divine energy. The message from Source is the memories. So this is also a time of reflection. So you're doing this deep healing from a star seed mind, but you're also tapping into your memories. And so this could very well be a past life situation or a family line issue. And so what they're saying is to remember the things that have happened in your past, people that you've lost, but don't look at it from a negative, sad standpoint. Think of those happy points. Think of the joy that you had with that person, with that place. Maybe it was a pet, things like that. But just remember the pleasantries, because as long as you hold the happy memories, you hold that person with you. So this is, or that place or pet. So this is a reminder to don't forget those that have went before you and tap back into those energies. Remember the good things. Remember the positive things. Or remember maybe it's the smell of cookies baking at your grandma's house, or the way your puppy, when it was little, was jumping up and down and trying just to bite your pants legs. But it's things like that that bring those happy mind memories, and that's what the message for the week is to remember your past with fondness. So your lesson for this second week of March, air signs, is the Knight of Swords. So swords are associated with the element of air. They're logical, and they're also for cutting away the nonsense, seeing things clearly. So, you're charging forward. You're trying to see things, but don't run too far and don't go too fast. Because if you are just charging ahead, clearing out everything, being brutally honest to the fullest extent of what your power is, which is significant, air signs, you're going to miss things. So the lesson or the challenge this week is to maybe slow it down, pull it back just a little bit. Don't charge into everything with just this, I'm going to cut it open and show the truth of the matter. This, the second week of March is telling you to tap into your tact and maybe not be so harsh. Maybe gentle your truth just a little bit. Be honest. Don't hide your truth, but maybe don't cut to the bone like you normally would, because that's, like I said, that's a habit of the air signs. So for your third week of March 2022, we're looking for the guide for the third week of March 2022 for air signs. Sometimes the cards are really talkative, and sometimes they are not. There we go. So then we are looking for our message from Source. And I have just a small table next to me, so I have to try to keep everything on that. One of these days, I will have a better table system so that I can have them all in front of me, so it's easier to work with. But, you work with what you've got to start with. So we're working for a lesson or challenge for the third week of March. So your guide for the third week of March is the Earth Dragon, which is actually your opposite energy as far as the elements go. And it says, clears your path and the land around you. So what this is saying is, as a air sign, it's time to find your balance. You're always up in your head. You're always looking at things from a logical perspective, but maybe it's time to come back down to earth. What needs to be worked on in your physical world right now? This dragon is coming forward to say that if you have a cleaning project, if you have a household project, something that is more physical, less intellectual, it's the time to do it is this third week of March, whether it's doing your spring cleaning or doing that home repair that you've been looking at or finishing that crafting project. what this dragon is here to do is help you understand that this week is a time to tap back in, touch the grass if there's grass, or to work with the soil. Maybe start your gardening if you start your plants indoors, but just do something that more brings you back to earth and grounds you back in. But it's talking about clearing things out as well, and that's the reason the concept of spring cleaning keeps coming up. Your message from Source is illusion, which is embracing the truth. So, going with the Earth Dragon as your guide, this week is a time to stop looking at everything in such a through the blinds of what you've been seeing. Sometimes being up in your head and being the term airhead, it doesn't mean that you're not thinking logically, but you're starting to daydream. You're tapping into your water energy, and so you're running around having this illustrious thoughts in your head, and sometimes they can be good and sometimes they can be bad. What this is saying is using that earth energy, bring yourself back down, reconnect with who you are, and break the illusions. Sometimes our illusions get into that point of, oh, I'm so smart, or I'm so intelligent or spiritual, or fill in the blank, but you're putting yourself up there and you're elevating into your head and you're getting into that highly logical overthinking state. And so what this is saying is step away from those illusions, break through them, use the earth energy to bring you back down so that you're not stuck in that period of fooling yourself, because we can all do that at times. We're human. So but that's the message from sources, to try and break the illusions and bring yourself back down, and using that earth energy as your grounding point. Now, your lesson or challenge for this week is the High Priestess, which is the second card in the Major Arcana. So these are big life lessons. And what I'm hearing for that one is, for this third week of March, it's time for you to really connect back into that female energy again, but don't do it in a way that is negative. So it's balancing your emotional states, because that is a very strong point of energy with the water, which is more feminine, but it's also balancing with that earth energy. So the earth can help ground those emotional states, but it's also connecting you into the divine aspect of who you are as a female entity, as a female energy. So bringing all of those energies to balance is the key of this whole week for the third week of March. So we're going for the fourth week of March. So your fourth week of March guide. Fourth week of March for the air signs, 2022. Message from Source. And the fourth week of March, lesson or challenge for our air signs. So, the fourth week of March guide is the White Gold Dragon from Libra. This is going to be a big month for you, air, because you are dealing with a lot of cosmic energy that is coming in. The White Gold Dragon from Libra connects you to your highest Christ light. So, the title of Christ, sorry if you can see that. The title of Christ is actually a title like Mr. Doctor or Sir. It was not just an energy given to one person. It was actually an energy we all can access. And so when you're having the White Gold Dragon, the white gold energy is very, very strongly associated with this Christos energy, the Christ energy. And so what it's saying is, this dragon is coming in to help you align with your highest and best self. It is helping you tap into that soul star energy, that's the chakra that's just above, about 6 inches above your head. So it is very, very strong, bringing in this higher divine energy. And so your guide for that week is to help you find the spiritual upliftment and bringing you into that higher state. And so your message for the fourth week from Source is competition. So this is for self-confidence, this is for self-awareness, and it's for bettering yourself. It's competition is not always negative. If steel sharpens steel, so if you work together with somebody else, you can actually develop a very strong relationship where you challenge each other. And you being air signs, you like the intellectual struggles. You like those intellectual arguments and discussions more so than the other signs will. But you don't want it to get to a point of aggression and fiery attitude, because that taps into usually parts with the air that's not quite what you were looking for. You want things based on logic and reason. So using that Christ-light energy from the white gold dragon plus that competitive state, you can actually work into a position where you can elevate yourself and elevate other people. So part of what I'm hearing for this one is that this would be a good week to maybe find a mentor, maybe find someone who is on the same spiritual journey as you, or someone who's working on a similar intellectual project that you can bounce ideas off of so that you can both improve your situations. So it's a rather encouraging time for you this fourth week. Your challenge or lesson is the hermit. And the hermit shuts themselves away from everybody. They bring themselves into a quiet place so that they can connect with themselves, connect with the energies around them, and connect into a deeper state with Source. Your challenge for this whole week is find a way to deepen your connection. Try to tap into those higher spiritual frequencies. You've got the white gold dragon who's coming in, bringing in the Christ-light energy to help you uplift yourself. You've got the competitive nature of building upon someone else. And basically what it's saying is you can use this energy with another person, but remember, your spiritual journey is your own, and that has to be handled in a private situation. So for the 5th week of March 2022, and my weeks run Sunday through Saturday, so there's going to probably be some overlap randomly, but that doesn't reduce the energy of the reading, it just adjusts the placement of the energy. So we're looking for a message for the 5th week of March for our air signs, and a lesson or challenge for the 5th week of March 2022 air signs. Okay. So the guide for your the 5th week of March is going to be the lilac fire dragon. Transmutes through the power of divine love. So this dragon is, to me, being associated with Saint Germain, which was a saint years ago that studied alchemy and learned how to transmute, but he used a violet flame to do so. So the lilac fire dragon is tapping into that type of an energy. So this week is a week of transmutation, taking the old or the lower energies, transmuting them into the higher, bringing in a higher state of love and of energy, of positivity and generosity. So be ready for some shifts to occur spiritually and energetically, lifting you into a higher state, and be open to those changes. They might be subtle, they might not even be outwardly noticeable, but be aware that week, the 5th week of March, you will be working on your spirituality and your spiritual self. So the message from Source is dreams. Believe in your dreams. So when you have the lilac fire dragon moving through your energy field, it's trying to uplift you, bringing you into that higher state. Using your dream states, you can get messages from Source, from your guides, from your angels, and you can also create when you are in your dream state. So if you're focusing on a solution to a problem before you go to bed, during your dreams, that solution can actually come through a lot easier because you don't have the monkey mind being loud out front. When you can tap into your subconscious, it allows you to see ways things can get better, patterns that need to be let go of, and ways for you to step into the fullness of who you are. I'm using vague terms because each person is different, so each person has something different that they're going to step into. It could be a new job, it could be a new relationship, it could be seeing a solution to a problem that you've had for a while and not quite understanding, but you have this energy from the lilac fire dragon coming in, bringing in all this extra spiritual focus, allowing you to change this negative situation, a problem, into a solution, thus allowing you to progress on your journey. So your challenge for this 5th week of March, air signs, is the 3 of Pentacles. And what they're saying is, this goes back into the earth energy again, because you're dealing with pentacles, which are associated with earth. You are feeling like you're drained. You're struggling. There's things that you have to do, but you're doing them very blah. It's, and as a lady in this picture is doing, she just doesn't have the energy to feed her animals. She just kind of like, here's something, but it's not what her animals want. So your challenge this week is to not fall into the doldrums and not find because you have a lot of the strong energy coming in. Your subconscious is trying to wake up and talk to you, and that can be physically draining. When we're working in our mental and spiritual states, it brings in, or it draws away, a lot of energy from your physical body as that energy comes in. So you have to find a way to balance it. Don't allow yourself to fall into the trap of, I'm being very spiritual because I'm meditating for 12 hours a day, but you're forgetting that you still live here. So coming out of your head more, bringing yourself back into the earthly plane, and working on the things that you need to work with. If you need to take some time to recharge or recover, do so, but make that time a shorter period than you normally would. If you normally would crash for 5 days, make it 3, so that you are not draining all of that energy, because Source will only give you what you are able to work with. And if you just wallow in that energy but you don't do anything with it, Source will quit giving you that excess amount. So manifesting and building your life is a two-way street. So the energy is coming in, it's time for you to act on it. I hope that reading resonated for all of my air signs out there, and I will be dropping a video like this about once a month for you guys, and it'll be based on the air, or on the elemental signs. So, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So I hope that this resonates with you, and I will talk to you guys again real soon.